Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review of the album Intention to Kill by the New Jersey thrash metal band Oblivion. Now I have to say the New Jersey thrash metal band because there are actually quite a lot of bands called Oblivion, so I have to be very specific. Anyway, so this is actually a compilation album containing their first two demos. Their self-titled demo released in 1985, and also the Intention to Kill demo also released in 1985. So before I get into it, I'm gonna name off the band members really quick. Dave Gutierrez on vocals, Mike, Saika on guitar, Rich Velio on bass, and Santo Benedetto on drums. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing all these last names. I am not good at pronouncing names, especially last names, but anyway. So with that, let's just get into the songs. So the opening track is called Rabid Bestial, and it is an absolutely fantastic, non-stop, just aggressive, energetic thrash metal, just great song. But it's just a great thrasher piece, I guess. Really cool opening track. I don't know. I like it. I wouldn't say it's the best choice for an opening track. Maybe the second best, but I don't know. Maybe it's just my opinion. But anyway, it's still a great song. It's just a non-stop, just speedy, overly energetic type song. And there's not really that much of a solo. I mean, there is, but it's like super quick, and it's over and done with, really. Kind of a similar theme throughout these songs. The solos are probably the least interesting. I mean, there's like one or two really cool solos on here, but most of the solos, at least even in a majority of their discography, aren't the main, aren't like a really big focus. These songs are mostly driven by the riffs and the vocals. But anyway, just really great song. And even if it doesn't have that much of an interesting guitar solo, yeah. Next up is Aggressive Assault. Now, this song, in certain areas, definitely reminds me of the song Tormentor by Slayer. Especially the vocal melodies in the I guess you could call it a chorus. Just the way they're structured definitely reminds me of the kind of melodic chorus bit in the song Tormentor by Slayer. The what was the sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say. I forgot what I was gonna say, but anyway, yeah, the vocal melodies are in the again kind of like a chorus kind of thing, but not quite so, but are very similar to that thing in the song Tormentor. That kind of reminds me of that. There's also like a maybe just the overall feel of the song definitely has a very similar feel to that song. Also something to mention is that it's kind of like that also because especially with kind of overall, but even more so especially with the first demo, this band was very influenced by the first Slayer album, Show No Mercy, and maybe a little bit of Haunting the Chapel, maybe, but definitely was very heavily inspired by Show No Mercy. But anyway, I'm getting off track. Yeah, just a really great song. Again, it definitely reminds me of Tormentor in a couple of ways. Um, just a really cool song. Um, Next up is my favorite song on here, and probably my favorite Oblivion song, "Raised by Fire." This is the song that actually got me interested in this band in the first place. Um, I can't remember exactly where I first heard it. Now, of course, it's a recent one, but it's interesting because I can't remember exactly what was I gonna say? I can't remember exactly where the cause I swear I've heard this song somewhere before. It did sound kind of familiar, like, and it was lingering in the back of my mind. Like, I think I've maybe heard this song before, or maybe I've just heard something that's kind of similar. Because even though I recently just discovered this song, like, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and discovered this band a couple of weeks ago, that one song when I first heard, like, why does this sound sort of familiar? But anyway, I might have heard it sometime before, but because it does sound familiar. But anyway, this is the song that got me interested in this band in the first place. It's just a great song. Also, this song, even though I love Rabid Bestial and it is still a very good opening track, this song, "Raised by Fire," is probably this band's magnum opus. Like this song was the a song used in the promotional video for the release of this compilation. Oh yeah, so this compilation was released this year. Yeah, this year, like, I don't know, a couple of months ago actually. Um, and it's interesting because the opening, not the opening, what I'm talking about, the music used in that promotional video was Raised by Fire. So I don't know this for sure because again this band's still kind of new to me, but most likely this is the band's iconic song, like their song. You know, every band has the one song that is just synonymous with the band, and this very much seems like it. And it's just a great song, and it should have been the opening, in my opinion. It should have been the opening track to the first demo, this first demo, because it is just such an impactful song. First off, the drum opening. This a drum opening with this really heavy sort of very minimalistic-ish but very impactful kind of riff, and it just builds up and it builds up, and then all of a sudden, like, the guitar switches to this really cool, very energetic, fast-paced, catchy as hell riff. And then the drums just start going crazy, and then the song starts off, and it's just a really cool opening to a really cool song, and it just gets better and better. The main riff is great. There's a secondary riff that pops, that sort of interchanges with the main riff. The main riff definitely sounds Slayer inspired, but the secondary riff that, intertwines with it from time to time throughout the song kind of sounds like something from Possessed's first album, oddly enough. It's not as heavy as a riff on that album, but it definitely has that similar sort of structure and overall sort of sound. Anyway, and the solo, this is one of the few standout solos, guitar solos on this entire demo. It definitely stands head and shoulders above the rest. It definitely has maybe a bit more effort put into it, I guess. Not to say that this band doesn't put effort into their music, but the solos in particular, like I said before, usually are just sort of like just there. Again, the songs are the main driving force of these songs are the vocals and the guitar riffs, as well as the drums, I guess, but mainly the vocals and the riffs. Yeah, the guitar solo in the song is fantastic, very wild, very chaotic. And I love the slowdown bit. There's sort of like a slow where the riff sort of slows down and becomes this very sinister, very evil, very not super heavy but heavy. I guess for this band anyway, this riff that sort of it's a slowed down, very more like slightly down more down tuned than the main riff, and it goes into this really cool vocal section um that again very Slayer inspired. And then it sort of builds up slightly, and then goes in. It goes in the main riff again, and then it even does another slow down bit with another sort of moody riff, and it goes in a similar vocal section, then goes back up to the main riff, and then ends. But yeah, just a fantastic song. Also, in a way, kind of an epic song as well. Not like super super epic or anything, but an epic for I guess for this band in terms of what you call epic for this band. It's sort of epic for thrash metal, I guess. Not super super epic, but I guess in a sort of thrash metal, almost in a very subtle way, I guess. But anyway, yeah. Raised by Fire is a fantastic song, and if this is the song they're most known for, I totally get it. Like, this song is an absolute masterpiece. It's become probably one of my absolute favorite thrash metal songs. It's just that good. Next up, or lastly, is the song Life After Death. Another great song, super fast, super chaotic, just energetic, and just a great way to end the demo. So, I was gonna say, oh yeah. So, yeah, Life After Death, it kind of mirrors the opening track, Rabid Bestial. It has a very similar sort of structure and sort of riff. Main riff, I guess. But it is its own song. But I like how it does, in a way, kind of mirror the beginning song. Sort of has sort of like a very consistent beginning and end song. Anyway. So that was the first demo. The second demo, on the other hand, is very disappointing. It starts off actually very good with this intro, this instrumental intro, which for some reason is not on the listed on the track listing here, but it is listed on the track listing on the original version of the second demo. But it's just called Intro. But it's very cool, and honestly, one of the first things I realized about this intro when first listening to it, it's very close to sounding like the opening riff from going back to Tormentor by Slayer. It's only like a couple slightly notes off from that opening riff. To that song. Again, these two demos are very Slayer inspired. Again, especially from Show No Mercy. And I guess they very much like that song Tormentor, because there's a couple of moments throughout, the ones I mentioned and some other ones that have kind of reminiscent of certain elements of that song. Again, the vocal melodies from Aggressive Assault, and the sort of the guitar melodies from the opening of the intro. Anyway, yeah, great intro. But then it goes, actually, the actual first song is Aftermath, which is just a very, very bland, very cookie cutter sort of just standard as standard could be thrash metal song. Yeah, Aftermath is not good. Inflictor of Pain is kind of the same thing, just sort of bland and forgettable. But going into the song, Strychnine is actually pretty good. It has a very awesome driving riff, super, super energetic. It's definitely the highlight off of the second demo. And then, of course, you get the, track Intention to Kill, which is it's alright, I guess. Not as bad as the first two tracks, but it's alright. Yeah. So, before I get into my final thoughts, my verdict, there is actually a couple things that two things in particular that actually come with this compilation. First up is, if I could get it out here, hold on, is a booklet. Oh, that's the record. No, oh, there we go. Sorry, it was stuck on here. Is this really cool booklet. Now, unfortunately, there are no lyrics here, but if you get the prior compilation album, there's a compilation album that came out a few years before this one that has every single one of their demos. There's lyrics to every single song, but for some reason, for this compilation, they didn't add the lyrics for some weird, bizarre reason, which is kind of lazy in my opinion. If they already had the lyrics for the previous compilation for these exact same songs, and of course all the rest of the songs in their discography, but for some reason they just didn't add the lyrics to this compilation. Odd. But yeah, I'm probably gonna have to cut the other compilation just because one, again, it has the lyrics, and two, it also has all the other demos that are otherwise unavailable, or unavailable for a purchase. Anyway, enough sidetracking. I absolutely love the cover art here. I think it's by the same artist who did the cover art for the actual cover of this album. You get a huge mushroom cloud with an exploded city, and the mushroom cloud is in the shape of a skull, with skulls in the in the eye socket. It's really, really cool. Also, you get the logo there. Now, I really love this Oblivion logo. I don't think they ever really, except for maybe on the very first demo, they've had a very consistent logo. It's very rarely ever changed. I mean, yeah, sure, there's different color patterns on the different variations of the years, but again, other than the original version, that was completely different from this version. After that one, and on the second demo onwards, it very rarely ever actually had any major change to it. And also, it's a very striking logo, very iconic in my opinion. Anyway, here we go, the original logo. So the first page here, you get pictures of the original demos. You get the picture of the first demo there, and there I was talking about the original logo, the only one that's actually vastly different from all the rest. I actually really like this logo. Now, I'd say I probably, in terms of font, I kind of, I don't know. I like how the original logo is they made it look like it's made out of bones. If you look really closely, these aren't just lines put together. These are actually they're made to look like bones. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. There you go. But yeah, very cool. Although I kind of do slightly prefer the more sharper look of the logo they went with later on. Anyway, so you get the two pictures of the first two demos. Of course, their self-titled demo, and then the Intention to Kill demo. Yet, of course, the logo in the secondary logo in color, and a picture of the band members. Hold on. There we go. Sorry, I'm trying not to put my arm out too far because my shelf is right here, and if I put it out too far, I might hit my elbow. So I'm trying to show this without hitting my elbow on my shelf. There you go. Some more photos of the band and some promotional material for the tour. Hold on. Then you get a collage of multiple different pictures of the band playing live. more pictures of the band and some reviews of their first 2 demos. Interestingly enough, I don't know if this was the case overall, but at least with the reviews in here in terms of the first demo, they range from mild to kind of negative, and the mild reviews say that it, overall it's just kind of meh, and the very negative reviews say that they are basically a Slayer ripoff. Which is not true. Yeah, sure, they have very heavily Slayer influence, but they're their own thing, in my opinion. They have their own sort of unique sound. Anyway, so as I was saying, I don't know if that's with every review. So I don't know if overall the first demo got negative reviews, or if it's just a couple of reviews. But it's very interesting that the only reviews of the first demo that's on here are negative, or very mild to negative reviews. And in terms of their second demo, it's fairly positive. So again, I don't know if it's just these reviews or if the reception for the first demo wasn't too good overall, which is kind of surprising to me because I absolutely love this first demo. Anyway, some more reviews and stuff, and some more pictures of the band members. Another collage of the band members. Now there's one more thing that does come with this album. If I could get it out here, hold on. Stuck in the inside of the package. Hold on. Oh, there we go. You get a bonus CD, which is its own compilation album. So I might just do a separate review of this at some point in the future. It's a compilation. The first set of songs are rehearsal tracks, and the second set of songs is a recording from a live show. Again, I didn't want to review this in this one because it's basically a completely separate compilation album, which again I'll review sometime in the future. But there's that. So overall, in terms of the compilation, I will say half of it is fantastic and half of it's not so good. In terms of viewing it from the first and second demos separately as separate things, as separate releases as they originally were, the first demo is an absolute masterpiece in my opinion, and the second demo is just sort of meh. Now I don't usually do this for compilation albums, but I kind of feel like I have to for this, just to, I don't know, it just feels right. I'm gonna do separate ratings for these demos instead of viewing it as an entire compilation. I don't know why I don't usually do that, but for some reason it just doesn't feel right to just rate it overall in this particular one. I don't know. But I'd say the first demo definitely gets a 10 out of 10. I have one minor nitpick with it, and like I said before, it's just my personal opinion, but I think Raised by Fire should have been the opening track as opposed to Rabid Bestial. But again, Rabid Bestial is still a pretty good opening track for what it is. As for the second demo, again, I'm not going to give it that high of a rating. I'd say probably maybe a 4 out of 10. Again, the opening intro instrumental's really good, and then there's like one song that's sort of it's pretty good. Yeah. Now, what I was gonna say. Oh, before I end this review, I just want to talk about this era of this band overall because it is pretty brief. This particular lineup only lasted about, like, I'd say maybe a little over a year or so. Because shortly after their live touring of their um, second demo, the vocalist would be replaced with a different one. Now, there's not really much information on what happened. I don't know if he left on his own accord or if he got fired or what happened. But he left and a different vocalist took his place. But yeah, this particular lineup only lasted about like, again, 1985. Only about a year, maybe slightly into 1986, but from what I figure, from what I found, I think it only lasted about pretty much a year. Yeah. As for this, I love how this encapsulate. How do you say that word? Encapsulates this particular lineup and this particular era of the band. Even though they would still be influenced by Slayer later on, the influence here in terms of Slayer is definitely the most heavy of Slayer influences. Like, they're very, very leaning on the Slayer early early Slayer stuff. And maybe that's why a lot of people didn't like it, because they maybe thought it was, too Slayer-esque. But honestly, I love early Slayer, so maybe that's why I love this band, and specifically this early stuff. But yeah, I honestly don't see why, I mean, again, if you don't like early Slayer, but anyway, yeah. So for people who absolutely love early Slayer and want to listen to something that's sort of similar, I definitely recommend this compilation. Now, I would just recommend going out and getting the first demo of the original, but both the original version of the first demo and the original version of the second demo are pretty much non-existent. Like, I've never, I don't know, I've never really, what was I gonna say? I've never really been a fan of the fact that, like, all these old demos are out of print, and most of these bands never bother to re-release them. Now, there's definitely some bands that definitely re-release their older demos, but for the most part, that's not the case. And even if they do, it's usually either on a compilation like this, or on like a CD or whatever. They never re-release them. Again, usually it's on a compilation. They never re-release these demos as a standalone demo as they originally were. I don't know why, but anyway, as I was saying, their first demo, you're unable to get it unless you get a compilation, either this or their previous compilation, which is a compilation of all 7 demos. Oh, something I forgot to mention: this band only ever released 7 demos. Yeah, sure. I think there's like maybe a single, or maybe not a single. I think it was like a promo single, I think, later on. But yeah, this band really only ever released a couple of demos, like 7 to be specific. But if you want the full discography, the full 7 demos, and if you don't mind just having it on CD, because it was a CD release only, but definitely get that compilation. But I don't think there's really anything extra to that other than the CD itself. But if you really want to start off, I recommend starting off with just this compilation, to start off with a proper introduction to the early era of this band. Again, for anyone who loves Slayer, this is definitely something you would probably like. I don't know, I'm just rambling on. I'm sorry. I was just really excited to actually do the review of this. Anyway, yeah. That's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.